We gotta talk. I feel like I'm like breaking up with someone. There's hot cocoa in that, not tea, but like pretend, you know. Hi there. My name's Andrea, and I don't really have a script for this video. I'm just sitting down with my Taylor Swift mug and matching sweatshirt to talk about Miss Taylor Swift and defend her, because I'd swing with you for the fences. I would sit with you in the trenches, Miss Swift. That was way too hot. If you are not a Swiftie, you might not have heard, but you probably heard. There is a lot of drama with Taylor Swift and her masters. And in this video, I am going to share my opinions on it, kind of give a breakdown for whoever might not know the situation. And I just want to say these opinions are my own. They are my own feelings as a fan. Enough said. I do a ton of Taylor Swift stuff on this channel. If you enjoy that, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss a video. I'm reacting to the AMAs on Sunday, and I am so excited. I really hope you tune into that one. Before I get into this video, I would also like to mention the Transgender Emergency Fund of Massachusetts. I have been talking about it in all of my November videos this month, and I am urging you to donate. The Transgender Emergency Fund has been providing critical assistance for transgender people in Massachusetts since 2008. They rely heavily on donations, so please click the link in the description and donate any amount of money that you can spare. It just goes such a long way to help so many people, and it would mean so much to me if you donated, so please click the link in the description. And if you can't donate, be sure to follow them on Instagram and like and comment and share and just celebrate this wonderful nonprofit organization. Thank you so much. For anyone who doesn't understand the music industry, your masters are like, you know, very important for your music, okay? When an artist signs to a record label, they unfortunately, due to contracts and stuff, sometimes sign over their masters to the record label. That's not really good because, again, I'm using very basic terms here so everyone can understand. That is not very good because it then gives ownership to not the artist. This has happened with so many people. It happened with Paul McCartney, it happened with Prince, I'm pretty sure. It happened to JoJo. Remember the singer JoJo? It's just a little too late. She just went through all of this as well. And now it's happening to my girl Taylor Swift, and I'm pissed about it. So basically, when someone owns the masters, they get a lot of control of how the song is used. Oftentimes with artists huge like Taylor Swift, like Paul McCartney, those masters are worth a lot of money, and we will dive into that in this video, don't you worry. All right, so to kind of focus on Taylor Swift a little bit, basically Taylor Swift was a teenager. I just want to scream that from the mountaintop, everyone. She was a teenager, okay? With a very big dream to become a singer-songwriter. Basically, how this all went down is Taylor Swift was singing one night at the Bluebird Cafe. I've been there. And this guy named Scott Borchetta came up to her and said, I want to put you on my record label. This was huge for Taylor.
Someone wants me on their record label? Oh my god.
For years at this point, Taylor Swift was trying to get signed to a record label. So this guy comes along and he's like, I want to put you on my record label. She says, okay. He goes, one problem, I don't have a record label. Scott ends up making this record label called Big Machine Record Labels. You watching this, I'm sure, know an artist on Big Machine. Dan and Shay, Tim McGraw, Thomas Rhett, Rascal Flatts. I mean, they kind of exploded, okay? I think this might be a biased statement to make, but I think a lot of that had to do with Taylor Swift and everyone's fascination with this young woman at the time. So Taylor Swift gets signed to this record label. She signs this contract. Unfortunately, they own her masters. She does not. Big no-no. Big no-no, we know now. Taylor Swift becomes one of the most successful artists of my generation. I mean, you can't deny it. You really can't. In the beginning, Taylor signed a 10-year contract, and that brought us through to around the end of Reputation. So after she recorded Reputation, put it out, went on the biggest stadium tour ever, she had a decision to make. She could either stay with Big Machine. I really thought she was gonna make her own record label, or she could go to another record label. She ended up going to another record label. She signed with Republic, and in her contract, she made sure that she, Taylor Swift would own all of her masters. So all the music she was making, she would own, which should have been the case all the time. And that leads me here talking about it. So Taylor Swift puts out Lover. She puts out Folklore. We love, we adore. She has all creative control of it. We love that for her. We love that for her. I don't really know all the legal terms or whatever, but in the original contract with Big Machine, Taylor Swift would be able to re-record her albums and then kind of like own the rights to them at that point. So I was there at GMA when Taylor Swift put out Lover, and she was like, I'm gonna re-record all my albums that are with Big Machine. Like, you watch me do it.
I mean, one thing about this album that's really special to me is that it's the first one that I will own.
I mean, it was amazing. It was iconic. I can't believe I saw it and heard it with my own eyes. She's now able to re-record, and she has started re-recording, but I'll get to that. You're probably like, okay, what's the big deal? Oh, there's a big deal. His name is Scooter Braun. Taylor Swift is living in Loverland. It is announced that Scooter Braun bought into Big Machine. He paid $300 million and bought into Big Machine. Again, I'm using basic terms. With that, he owns Taylor's masters. Now, if you understand the situation, you're probably like, why does an old man own this young woman's masters and her music? That makes no sense. Why doesn't she own it? That's exactly the problem and why I'm making this video. Taylor does not own the masters to her first 5 albums. I'll like put up the statement she made here. But the drama, basically, aside from the obvious that this man was taking credit for this young woman's work and owns her work. And when I say owns, I mean not just the music you hear on the radio or hear on the album. I'm talking music videos, pictures of her, her handwriting, her, oh my God, this makes me so upset. All of her hard work, but not only that, but even her album artwork doesn't even belong to her. Her face is on it and it doesn't even belong to her. I mean, this sweatshirt of the Eras, they couldn't even put the Speak Now album on a piece of merch because Taylor Swift doesn't own it. Big Machine owns it and Scooter Braun owns it. On top of that, if you didn't think it could get any worse, Taylor has a very bad relationship with Scooter Braun. Like, she does not like him. Taylor Swift has made that very, very clear to the owner of Big Machine, Scott Borchetta. And Scott still sold the masters to Scooter Braun. This happened like a year ago and I still am so upset about it. When I read that statement, I was at work and I went to the bathroom and cried. So then, yesterday it comes out that Scooter Braun sold her masters to Shamrock Holdings. Who is that? And if you didn't think it could get any worse, it did. Taylor Swift has the coin to buy her masters back. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Taylor Swift could pay $300 million to get her masters back. Should she? Absolutely not. They should just already be hers and she should own them. They should be given back to her. But if she had to, she could pay for it. We all know that. And her team, which she stated in her statement yesterday, I'll put that here. And he quite frankly didn't want to sell them to her because if she were to buy them from him, she would have to sign an NDA saying that she wouldn't say anything negative about Scooter Braun for the rest of her life. Let me correct myself. Negotiate. She would have to send an NDA to negotiate, not even get them, like have the opportunity to get them. And also what that says is how Shamrock Holdings contacted Taylor and was like, hey, we want to work with you, like with your, we now own your masters, we want to work with you. And she was like, I don't really want to work with you because Scooter is still benefiting off of Shamrock owning them somehow in the terms she explains in that thing. Okay, so now that I got you all caught up, my feels on this situation. First and foremost, it is such a shame that someone besides an artist owns what the artist creates and benefits from money that makes and so many other things about that art. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, she was a teenager coming up with these ideas and concepts for music videos and songs and tour. I mean, like, she did it all. And the fact that these rich, white, greedy, filthy men are benefiting from that is disgusting. And there's so many artists out there who I'm sure are dealing with the same problem. But the scary part is Taylor Swift is one of the most powerful artists. She is record-breaking. I mean, she is unstoppable. She is Taylor Swift. And the fact that she's dealing with this scares me of what other people are dealing with. I mean, something I'm talking about with my Swiftie friends the past 24 hours since all this news came out is, what other NDAs is Scooter having his clients sign? If you're unfamiliar, Scooter Braun is a manager. People call him a PR mastermind. As a fan, I'm scared. I'm really scared for what these artists are going through with him. I mean, I hope and I pray he is treating people like Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, Casey Musgraves, Dan and Shay, Justin Bieber are all people Scooter manages. There's more, but those are the ones that come to mind. You know, how are they being treated? How is he treating them? Did they have NDAs they had to sign? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That is so scary. That is so scary. Like, did they have to sign NDAs not to say anything bad about Scooter, but he treats them awful behind the scenes? I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating, and I'm scared. How many times am I gonna say it? I'm scared. Also, it just brings up the whole issue of sexism in the music industry. There are so many women that work so much harder than the men in the music industry, and they just have to be walked all over, and their music is tossed around and sold for millions of dollars when it doesn't even belong to them. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's disgusting behavior. As a fan, I feel like someone is messing with my best friend, because I didn't think I was gonna cry in this video, but Taylor Swift means so much to me, because in moments where I don't feel understood, or I feel lonely, or I just need a boost of happiness, her music that those men own is what got me through, is what brought me happiness, is what brought me joy, is what made me feel confident in myself. And the fact that there are people who legally are able to treat someone this way because of the system, because of the legalness of the copyright owning things of the masters, they're allowed to get away with it. And how I look at it is Taylor Swift gave so much to me as a fan. That's why I'm making this video, is just to, you know, this is something that happens to many people. And when Scooter bought into Big Machine and he bought the masters, a lot of people were like, it's a business move, like it's a strategic business move. After yesterday's incident, this is no longer a business move. Scooter is losing money at this point with that. And the second that Taylor Swift re-records those songs, those masters aren't gonna be worth as much as they were, and that's why she's re-recording them. So what he is doing to Taylor is very personal, and a lot of the focus the past couple days have been on Scooter Braun, but also on Scott Borchetta. He started this whole thing, and you know, all these men are just trying to make money and trying to get a quick buck, and they do that at the cost of artists. The talented ones, the creative ones, the ones who are seeking out platforms to put out their music. Taylor Swift is never gonna watch this, but if I could talk to her about this issue, I would say props to you, girl, because she's doing everything she can she's doing everything in her control to make it out on the other side of this awful thing. I mean, I can't emphasize it enough. Her career's work, her very successful career is owned by other people that aren't her, that aren't in her circle. They're owned by people she actually hates. But I just made this video to kind of explain in basic terms what's going on with Taylor Swift. I'm even thinking now there's some things I left out. This is a very basic, minimal summary of what's been going on. And again, these are my opinions. Like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This is just my opinion as a fan and as someone who loves and adores Taylor Swift oh so much. And yeah, for a healthier option, as Taylor Swift would say, I keep cruising. I keep cruising. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave in the comments below what you think of all this Taylor Swift and her Masters catastrophe. It is just like, we get new information like every year, I feel like. I'm so excited and I am looking forward to the day that Taylor Swift owns all of her music, and I just can't wait for that day. I can't wait.